how easily and how quickly people change their story, or forget what they said, or forget what they felt, or forget even what they knew over a comparatively short time. And I can remember the first time that I heard of Kennedy. This was back in the days when Ike was president, and Kennedy began to be heard just a little bit about. And I remember sitting one night in a guy's apartment, and we were talking about politics and the whole phenomenon of American politics. And he was the hot under the collar type, the idealist, the burning idealist, the angry man who subscribes to all the magazines, the right ones, who subscribes to all the right causes, and this is even more important, who is always generally considered in our time and in our world a sensitive, truthful man. Well, we're sitting there, and he was really bugged, and he was saying, among other things, that he felt that one of the problems with American politics, and in politics in general, was that it's usually run by old men. It's usually in the hands of men who don't have energy. Idealism has long since disappeared from their lives. Dreams have disappeared. And there they are. They're old men, and they don't really know what's going on in the world of the now. This was his whole thesis, which is a reasonable one, although not necessarily a true one. And then in the course of the conversation, he says, he said, have you ever heard of Jack Kennedy? I'd heard of Senator Kennedy, that's all, just a very vague name, like many senators, you hear the senator from Illinois or the senator from Utah or something, a name. And he says, now this is an example of a guy who obviously will never possibly be elected president of the United States. Why? He's young, he's too young, he's got ideas, he's got idealism, he's dedicated in one thing and another. Well, I don't have to tell you that shortly after Mr. Kennedy was elected, this was one of the first guys I heard yelling about the fact that Kennedy was too young.
Next time on Breaking Walls, in honor of the 60th anniversary of John Kennedy's assassination, we spotlight Gene Shepard and his November 1963 broadcasts. The reading material used in today's episode was I Have a Lady in the Balcony, Memories of a Broadcaster in Radio and TV by George Ansbro, On the Air by John Dunning, Network Radio Ratings by Jim Ramsburg, as well as articles from Broadcasting Magazine, the New England Historical Society, the New York Times, and Sponsor Magazine. On the interview front, Stan Freberg, Byron Kane, and Peggy Weber spoke to Spurdvac. For more info, go to spurdvac.com. Andre Baruch, Ken Carpenter, Virginia Gregg, John Goodell, and Agnes Moorehead spoke with Chuck Shaden. Hear their full chats at speakingofradio.com. Jackson Beck, Vincent Price, and Bill Spear spoke to Dick Bertel and Ed Corcoran for WTIC's The Golden Age of Radio. Hear these interviews at goldenage-wtic.org. Jack Benny's snippet was recorded by CBS and played for their 50th anniversary in 1977. Selected music featured in today's episode was Plunkett's Lament by George Fenton, The Pavane and Window to the Sky by Michael Silverman, As Time Goes By Herman Hupfeld, Road by George Winston, Metamorphosis 2, arranged for harp by Elizabeth Hainan, and Amazing Grace by Windrum Spirit. Subscribe to Burning Gotham, the new audio soap opera set in 1835 New York City. It's available everywhere you get your podcasts and at burninggotham.com. Special thank you to Ted Davenport, Jerry Hendigas, and Gordon Skeen. For Ted, go to radiomemories.com. For Jerry, visit otrsite.com. And for Gordon, go to pastdaily.com. I'd also like to thank Walden Hughes and John and Larry Gassman of Spurdvac. Listen to their shows on the Yesterday USA Radio Network. Breaking Walls episode 145 will spotlight Gene Shepard through the lens of John F. Kennedy's assassination in November of 1963. This episode will be available beginning November 1st, 2023, everywhere you get your podcasts and at thewallbreakers.com. In the meantime, give Breaking Walls a quick rating on whatever platform you listen, especially iTunes. You can also join the Breaking Walls Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/thewallbreakers. And support this show for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/thewallbreakers. So until November 1st, my name is James Scully. This has been Breaking Walls episode 144. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you very much. One